So, Keek is not letting me film this first part of this, but we're doing I didn't say hi. Hi! Hi, hey. We're doing tofu popcorn chicken. And I'm sorry, my intro is not hitting right now, but it's because I filmed it 2 or 3 times. Because Keek is determined to be the star of the show, which she is. She's just not on camera right now. Yeah, hopefully. So, I already drained it for the most part. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, I am not as stringent of a tofu presser as some people are. All right, I like to fold it over kind of like that so there's like enough on the bottom to sit, and then I'll press it on my own and get all of kind of like the immediate water out, and it'll go down there. And now I know most people like take a lot of time and energy put into finding something that presses tofu like in between cutting boards, or I know people actually have tofu presses too. But I just, is that really necessary? No. I don't do all of that, and everything's fine. I did for a while when I first started making tofu. And then I realized so all I'm really trying to do right now is make this have less moisture. Why would I want that? Why would I want this to be dry? So that's how I feel. So I usually, there's one, and then I'll wrap it again in double paper towels. And if you have clean kitchen cloths, feel free to use them instead of paper towels. I just have cats, so I don't really ever trust even clean laundry to not have cat litter on it. Cat hair, but also, I'm sure this is feeling very appetizing, hearing me talk about this right now. So anyway, I do the same thing, double it. I press it a little bit on my own. And again, I don't want it to lose most of its volume, and I also really don't want it to lose most of its moisture because we're gonna try to make it into popcorn chicken. So now that we have it all doubled, I've kind of pressed on it a little bit, then I'll leave it for 10 minutes or so, maybe 15 minutes, and let it kind of just suck more of the moisture out. God damn it, that's baby man's. Oh, what are we gonna do with you? Anyway, 10 to 15 minutes. We'll be back. It'll be seconds for you. See you soon. Okay, so we're back, and the tofu's still over here. And here we're gonna do the cornstarch mixture that we toss the tofu in before we fry it. So I have cornstarch in this jar here. Sorry, I'm watching Jinx to see if she's about to run up on Keek. The life of a mother. Life of a single mother never stops, All right, so. It wasn't even the joke that was funny. It was me trying to carry on. Anyway, so cornstarch. Now, this is all I have. I quite wish I had more because it would be better if I did. Cornstarch is like the glitter of baked flour products. That works. Dry goods. Because it gets everywhere. It's impossible to fully get out because it is so fine. It sticks together. Anyway, so that should be fine. Most likely. If it's not, what will happen? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So, then I'm gonna put some salt. And yeah, you can be very generous. I would say probably 2 teaspoons of salt. Honestly, because a lot of it gets lost and you end up having to salt them afterwards anyway. And this is garlic powder. Probably a teaspoon and a half. And keep in mind, excuse me, keep in mind that because we're not going to be marinating the tofu at all, a lot of the flavor comes from the coating itself. All right. So this is also just some cumin. Anything that gives it a little bit of spice. And I really like cumin. You don't have to use it if you don't. like it. That's about, I don't know, 3/4 of a teaspoon. This is chili powder. It also just, the chili powder gives it color. I would say, I don't know, 1.5 teaspoons maybe. And then this is pepper. Now I know this might seem like a lot, like holy fuck, why are you doing all this? You'll see. You will see, you can trust me. And then a little bit of, only a few. These are spicy, these carry through obviously. Just a few, because when you catch one in your teeth, it sucks. There we go. Red pepper flakes. And then, thank goodness I didn't forget, nutritional yeast. Do about, I don't know, the equivalent of like a tablespoon, maybe 2 tablespoons. Let's do 2. And then we'll mix it up. If I had a whisk or I was willing to go look for one, I would. That would be smarter, but this is where we are right now. I'm really good at being half prepared for things. Very, very good at being half prepared for things. Fully prepared, can't promise it. But halfway, enough so I can convince myself I can achieve it. That works. Don't, please stop. Jinx is over here. Keek is on the other side. They're trying to read each other and get ready to tussle. All right, that is good enough for me. I mean, really, if you feel not so great about it, you can put whatever lid on any container that is, okay, I'm just using this Pyrex because I had it on hand. But whatever covered lid you can use, I would recommend a covered lid just because it's much less annoying. Trying to individually like rotate them, it just gets your hands all dirty. And when you can, put them in a container and kind of like toss them like you would like a school cafeteria lunch salad. You remember those? Come in those huge plastic containers. Very specific reference, I feel like maybe. But it's fine. Okay. So now we're gonna halfway clean up. And I'll see you soon. Okay, so now that we have that, the cats are crazy. We're going to add oil to this pot. And we're gonna pretty much, I mean, deep fry them, you know what I'm saying? So however much oil you need, now I keep oil that I've used before, frying oil, for a few weeks. Because it does feel like such a waste to not. So as long as you have, I don't know, I would say about a good 1 to 1.5 inches of oil so that the pieces of tofu will be submerged, but you don't need a bunch of space. So with this, I'm gonna put it on the stove and then turn it up now on my stove again. It's medium-high heat. But you don't want it to smoke or anything, just under that. I'm sure there's a specific temperature, forgive me. I think you can understand this isn't really that kind of place. I don't have that on hand. Sounds really good, Ryan. You should tell people about more. So definitely gonna put it on the stove now, heat it up. And yep, by the time that it's heated up and we come back and do this part, which is breaking up the tofu and tossing it in the cornstarch, it should be warm enough, and then we'll be able to deep fry them, you know? All right, now the last real step. Now you can see the tofu that we left for like 15 minutes or so is all the way damp. And you can take the tofu out of there after you've washed your hands. And start to kind of just pull it out in like chunks, little baby chunks. Now, it'll stay together. It's been pressed enough to work like that. But you can just do this. Now, you'll see. You'll have to make it. It may look like there's no possible way this is good. And I just disagree. And I think you will too, if you go through with it. Because the tofu itself kind of ends up, I don't know how, but it feels as if the tofu like sucks up the flavor that's in the cornstarch. So you just can't really tell too much of a difference because it's not too much tofu to kind of capture the flavor of the whole thing. Does that make sense? It doesn't. It's fine. It's all right. It's so windy. Stop. Stop. Oh my God, I'm barely ever gonna get through this. And we're also making, we being me and you and I, mashed potatoes. I'm very freaking excited. Okay. So now that we've done all of that, we can put the top on and we can start to shake it. Shake. I'm gonna flip it upside down. Make sure everything gets coated. That's really just the goal. You can see it if you use a clear. Don't feel free to open it. It's just cornstarch gets everywhere. You can tell I don't enjoy that part of it, right? Clearly. Ay. Geek. Okay. Anyway. Anyway, so now after that's kind of, give them a little bit of a minute to absorb the first layer, and then kind of circle back and get that second layer of cornstarch on them. And while the oil heats up, I'm going to move all the stuff over there and we'll watch them fry. Now I have a slotted plastic spoon that I'm going to go in and pick a few up at a time with and put them right in. I double check with just a little bit of flour shaking off, or cornstarch rather. And yeah, that is a warm enough. So I'm gonna put as many pieces that will fit in there at one time as we can. I find that now when I'm recording these and trying to talk, I don't talk to anyone all day until I'm recording this. It's like 8 at night. So I'm not surprised I can't really get out an uncomfortable sentence. But we will get better, we shall prevail. And like most people would tell you to use a bigger pot. And I would say that's true. And then most people would say maybe you should have let the oil get a little bit hotter. And I'd say that's probably true too. I'm gonna turn it up. But people would say get a new pot, a bigger pot, more oil in a bigger pot. Well, I can't do that. So this is what we're doing. And it's fine. Also, I know it works, so at least you can trust that I know it works. Albeit probably not what people would recommend. Now we wait patiently. Woohoo! Things have much improved. So now we're just letting them do their thing. And mashed potatoes. All right, so we're back. How you doing? How you holding up? The cats just had a fight when I was just filming this. And I don't know why I thought that like around dinner time was going to be a good idea. Because that's when they act a fool the most. But we're powering through. We're fine. They're separated. Everyone is good. So I'm going to put how long it's been on the screen because I have no concept of time. But when you can move them around and you start to feel that they're kind of hitting each other rather than sticking to each other, if you know what I mean. And I'll get the slotted spoon so you can kind of tell what I mean. I'll pick this up so you can see a little bit better. You can see that it's pretty breaded. So, what I'm gonna do is get a cutting board and a piece of paper towel and then take these off. Here we go. Unlikely that this is the most brilliant way to do it, but you know, sometimes you don't care 100%. Sometimes you only care 90. And when you're cooking, that's usually allowed. Baking, not so much. Cooking, you can kind of get away with it. And then I never want to turn the heat on the oil off until I have all of them out, because I don't want the oil to cool at all, so that then instead of frying, it starts to just get soaked into the breading, and then it's super oily and gross. So that's why the burner is still on. Okay. Now, we'll do that. Turn the burner off and show you all. Glorious. So I'm going to put them on one other paper towel, I think, to get all of the excess oil off, and then we're going to be good. And put salt on them. I don't want to forget that part.